Honestly, I tell people a lot that, I was a good person before I was a good basketball player. And I
Mm,
felt like what kept me engaged in the game and, just ready for my number to be called is the understanding that, it's the next guy up mentality. And, when your number is called, that you have to be ready. Like, you're not going to get a lot of chances to showcase yourself. And I felt like my preparation for the game that summer, like this past summer, has been everything. Like, it has been like mentally preparing, physically preparing, and just understanding or gaining new understandings of like how I can be impactful in the court. And I feel like once you understand those factors, then like you really start to fall into a line of like, hey man, like no matter what, I'm gonna come out here, I'm gonna support my teammates. They
mm.
call my number, I'm gonna be ready to go on the floor. Like whatever coach needs, I got them.
Hello, everyone. This is Author Tim Brown, the book Uncommon Athletes. I am just excited for another broadcast today. I want to remind persons to make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the channel as we continue to bring these positive stories of young athletes who are just chasing their dream. And today we have a real dream chaser, Daeqwon Plowden, who's all the way from Philadelphia to Bowling Green, and now has an opportunity to play at least a training camp invite to New Orleans Pelicans after having a great summer league experience. So, Daeqwon, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, just wanted to jump right in here. Now, you grew up in Philly. I know that's a lot of great basketballs played there. Uh, who introduced you to basketball at a young age?
My dad really introduced me. He was big on basketball. He was really good. Just didn't get his opportunity to play, at a professional level. But he really introduced me. It was trying to like, push me to like play a little bit more. But at that time, I was like more into football and baseball actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who were some of those older guys that you looked up to growing up? You watched them play.
Honestly, what's kind of funny is my dad and like the guys that he played
Mm-hmm.
alongside, like were the guys that I was like really looking up to as I was growing up playing basketball. And I only say that because those were the guys that I was seeing the most like
Right.
play. Like I wasn't watching too much NBA, like just because I was like really focused on like other sports. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess my dad was like really one of the guys that I like seeing that was like really good outside of like playing professionally that I looked up to.
Right. That's good. So it sounds like you were interested in some other sports. So you said baseball and football. So when did you realize you could be good at basketball? When did that kick in?
So I tried out for my middle school team, ninth grade,
Mm.
or actually eighth grade. Sorry, eighth grade. I tried out for my middle school team, and that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a shot and just trying to move forward and like really see like how playing basketball would be, and like that's when it like really caught my interest. And then um, when I really started to be like, this is where I really think I can be good at this game. I honestly think it was just when I really like got my confidence.
Mm.
And like it took a long time for me to get my confidence, starting playing basketball pretty late under the whistle and everything. And I think that was right around my junior to senior year, probably like when I really started gaining some confidence in high school. And then when I got to the college level and I really just seen like my game just continued to get better, that's when I like the light bulb went off and I was like, okay, I can really do something with this if I just continue to work and continue to, take the right steps.
Yeah, it sounds like you really had a great that junior senior in high school. Sounds like you had a great high school career at North Mastery Charter Pickett School in Philly. So you guys made it with runner up in the state one year and all that. How was that being a leader of that team? I know you were a leader of that team. How was that experience of being a leader? How'd that help your leadership skills?
It was good. It just showed me how to handle the good and bad moments that, happen throughout the season and learn how to bounce back. Um, and I think that just really helped me down the line, carrying those leadership skills out to Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of Bowling Green, you're coming from a big city in Philadelphia, and you end up in a little small college town. And so Bowling Green is definitely a college town. How did that recruiting process happen? How did they find you?
So I played AAU with Team Philly at the time. Now it's Halo Elite. Um, and I spent a lot of time with them, spent a lot of time on the Adidas circuit. And, I had some really good offers out there and some really good interest, but Coach Kevin Noon, which is one of my assistant coaches that was the assistant coach that like really like scouted me and picked me up on the team. Like he sat 15 minutes before the games and like really watched me warm up, just watched like my mental preparation before every game. And like, he just paid attention to the little things. And when I came on a visit, I understood that for me to get better, focus in on my books and focus in on trying to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish, I needed to get away from home. And I feel like that was the best option for me. And being in a small college town where, it's not a lot to do, it's not a lot of stuff to get into, I felt like that was the best option for me to like really hone in on everything and focus up.
That's a good word there. And sometimes we do have to get away, got to step out of our comfort zone, to accomplish those things that God has for us. And speaking of that, just watching your college career, look like every year you just got better and better. Your stats just increased, like you started adding different things to your game, had some triple-double games and all that kind of. What would you say? What drove you to keep working hard in college? What was that driving force?
Two things. My dad, during our recruiting process, he kind of like asked me like, who am I going to learn from? Like out of all the universities that, I could have went to and that wanted me to come on and, be kind of like the guy, like from the start, my dad kind of asked me like, who was I going to learn from? And I feel like that resonated well with me. And Coach Michael Huger also, he said everything's earned, nothing is given. And, so I didn't take that for granted. Like every year, I felt like, okay, I'm learning from somebody on the offensive end. I felt like I was pretty solid defensively, but just really learning the level of the game, how it's changed since high school, and like really just not being satisfied with what results I get at the year. So I felt like I was just determined and always ambitious to try to get better. So at Bowling Green, we had a philosophy. It was attitude commitment class, and that's what we ran our program through. Attitude, just being a good person, being a good character, commitment. Being 2 feet into our program, 110% committed to what we stand by, what we do, and how we look at the build. And then class. My coach always said you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and that was big for us. And I carry that everywhere just because you never know who's watching, and you never know what opportunity you're gonna get or what relationships are going to circle back through. So just always trying to remember that philosophy, because ultimately that's what's going to get you in the door with a lot of stuff.
You talked a lot about your dad already. Let's talk about that father and son relationship and how important that is. Sounds that's a very important relationship to you. Let's talk about that relationship.
Yeah, my parents were like really active in everything, associated with me, associated with my college, like even now associated with, this process to the NBA. And they don't sugarcoat it, and I'm proud that they don't sugarcoat it. And, just because I'm on the rise of everything, like they tell me how it is. And, I know it's out of love. Like, so I know that, my dad getting on me for, whatever the case may be, it's not, he just getting on me to get on me. It's, he sees something in me. He ain't never going to steer me the wrong way. Same as with my mom. My mom has always been, that type of figure to be, in everything, and also like telling me how it is, like no matter what the situation is, she's never biased about it, because, those are my parents.
Right.
So I feel like it was important for me to, to get, to have them on the same page, and, them always just telling me how it is.
Right. And it's all out of love, because they know you, they know what's inside of you. You must have they're the true trainers, because they know, dad played the game, so he knows how that works, and then
Mom played the game a little bit too. She played in high school.
All right, now. So you got it both ways. I'm sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mom. Give mom a shout out. That's all right. That's all right. And here we go. Wow, you made it to an NBA Summer League roster, out in Vegas. Just talk about how playing in the Columbus All-Star game, you did the 3-on-3 in New Orleans, and then that you played also in the NTX Combine. and you had great success in all three of those. Can you talk about how that prepared you for that experience?
Yeah, I feel like, it was a mental thing. Like it really prepped me mentally to be around a lot of new guys and
Mm.
um, not really being comfortable, like too comfortable in every environment, but really adjusting well and just going out there and ultimately doing what we've been doing for years now. So I felt like all three of those events like just really helped me see basketball in a new perspective. Like really just enjoy a lot of new faces and go out there and do what I love and just have fun doing it.
Boy, you said some great stuff there. Just having fun and enjoying the journey. I love
Mm-hmm.
what you said about meeting different people. All those experiences you're around different, and you can learn something from everybody. Pick up a little bit here,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit there. Gives you a chance to see what that work ethic looks like. To get to that level. So you went through the NBA draft, didn't get drafted, had some workouts. Talk about that NBA summer league experience. It's a little different for an undrafted player, because you got those guys who've been drafted, that they known on those rosters who are going to play. Talk about that experience for you as an undrafted player.
Yeah. Honestly, like I went into summer league like expecting nothing,
Mm.
and I feel like a lot of people might be like, well, dang, like from how the outcome seemed, it seemed like you expected everything, and like
Right,
you
right.
went to go get it, but I felt like it was easier to control like myself mentally when I went in not expecting anything,
Mm.
because at that moment you just having fun, you just
Yeah.
around guys, like you just like really like absorbing everything, and you just out there like being where your feet are, and I felt like that was big for me because, going in on not really signed to any team or anything like that, that's scary for a guy that's coming in undrafted and um, it's because you don't know what's next. Like even though that you a couple steps away from the ultimate dream, like, sometimes that's scary for a guy. But for me, I just went in, just not expecting anything, just to really enjoy the people that I've been around for a couple weeks, before summer league and just trying to really be somebody that has positive energy. That was the most important thing, like just coming out and having positive energy no matter what.
Daeqwon, we know that on your way to the NBA or just getting an opportunity to play in the summer league and exposure, there's an agent process and all that. So can you talk about the process of you choosing your agent?
Yeah, so with my agent, he reached out my original senior year, my fourth year, and he was trying to represent me then, but I decided to take my COVID year, and he was just like, we'll stay in touch, and I appreciated that, just being somebody who just coming off of like a not so really good year, and I felt like I could have done more, but for him to like really stick around and keep continuously check on me and just staying in my ear throughout the process of my final year, I appreciated that, and I honestly feel like I got lucky as a player in this process, just because um, with my process, like I felt like I want to find the best person behind the job, like who has the best type of character and who's gonna really have my best interest, and I felt like that was him, and like he'll tell you we had multiple Zooms and it might have seemed like the process was going to take forever, but I really got to observe and got to get a really good feel for who I was essentially going to sign and to represent me, and for him, being from kind of the same cloth, like real ambitious to want to be to want to level up in the world, not just for the money or the fame or anything like that, but just the ambition behind it. Um, and I feel like we connected because we our purpose was bigger than us.
Mm.
Like we both understood that. We both knew that this was like a platform to really fulfill our purpose, and that it was much bigger than us. And I just felt like somebody that carries the same qualities as me and has a similar mission to me. I won't say it's the same, but has a similar mission to me. It's almost identical, but somebody who has a similar mission, that's somebody I need on my team and somebody's team I need to be on, because that's important to me. That's above all, like, what I value. And, with my agent, that's somebody that really carries himself in a high class manner, and one of the best characters that I've met this past year. And, somebody that I really can say that's been super ambitious to want us all to win. I just need all to be the best versions of ourselves. And I felt like, that's what low-key makes me lucky to have him as an agent.
How did you stay focused and humble, to be ready? Because here you are, the reality is you were a top player on your team at Bowling Green, and you're sitting watching. I know you're looking at these guys like, man, I just need opportunity, So how did you stay ready?
Honestly, I tell people a lot that, I was a good person before I was a good basketball player. And I felt like what kept me engaged in the game and, just ready for my number to be called, is the understanding that, it's the next guy up mentality. And, when your number is called, that you have to be ready. Like, you're not going to get a lot of chances to showcase yourself. And I felt like my preparation for the game that summer, like this past summer, has been everything. Like, it has been like mentally preparing, physically preparing, and just understanding or gaining new understandings of like how I can be impactful in the court. And I feel like once you understand those factors, then like you really start to fall into a line of like, hey man, like no matter what, I'm gonna come out here, I'm gonna support my teammates. They call my number, I'm gonna be ready to go on the floor. Like whatever coach needs, I got them.
Boy, I love that comment you said about you were a good person before you were a good player, And that really resonates with me, because I talk to guys all the time about how important character is. Tell guys the talent will get you so far, but character is what keeps you there. You can have all that talent, but character is what's going to keep you around. And I'm sure the coach observed that about you being that good. You don't even have to say you're a good person, but it's just the actions, and how encouraging you were to everybody else, in that process. It was on the floor. That was awesome. What advice would you give players at mid-majors how to not give up on their dreams and opportunity to play at that next level? Because sometimes, mid-majors kind of get overlooked, so to speak, or they may think, oh, I'm at a mid-major, and people kind of say that as well, where they haven't played against good competition, and they look for those guys from the big programs. What advice would you give players at that mid-major level to continue to strive for their goal?
Yeah, first I would just say, just stay in the gym. Like that's huge. Like that's part of the game, just staying in the gym. But it also builds professionalism. A lot of teams look for guys that are going to be professional and that they don't have to worry about getting in the gym and just being a professional athlete. And like build your perspective. Like, and it may sound weird to say or uncommon to say, but build your perspective on things. Like, don't always go into a situation thinking biasly, because somebody else can see it. And when you try some things out and open up and become a little bit more open-minded, things can really open up. And I just feel like for me, that kind of helped me out. I came into college and was, a little open-minded, but it took a long time for me to become like fully susceptible to what my coaches were saying.
That's good. That's good. You talked about being a professional, and you talked about on the court, always, being in the gym, working hard. Talk about what you saw being around pros, because, you're in that environment. Talk about what professional looks like off the court.
Yeah, they were just, outside of being themselves, they were just, real, like, down-to-earth guys. Like, everybody was really cheering us on, and, seeing some of those guys out there, they carry themselves with high character. And like you said, character is huge, not even just in basketball, but overall, like, character is huge. And, they just show that they are high-class people, people that carry themselves in a high-class manner, I should say.
Yeah, that's good. So the summer league's over. That experience is over. You back at it again. I know you earned an Exhibit 10 contract, which is definitely an invite to training camp. So let's talk about what's next for you. How excited are you about that next process?
Man, I'm like itching at the skin can't wait to get there. But yeah, I'm just, just taking care of my body, mentally preparing for everything, all the challenges to come throughout this next season. Um, Wherever I'm at, whether that be or hopefully getting called up or anything like that. But, just mentally preparing for all the different routes, all the different, all the things that we have to manage and weather throughout this upcoming year. So I feel like that's a big part in, preparing. I know a lot of guys, preparing with weights and, preparing their bodies, but they can't forget to mentally prepare for what's coming up, because a lot of guys can, fall short just from, mentally being unprepared.
Mm-hmm. Now you have your college experience was on the court and off the court as well. You talk about your academic career there at Bowling Green and your degree and all that.
Yeah, so I got a degree in human development and family studies. So I do a lot of interaction with people. I really want to work with kids and be something like a counselor, helping them like understand that it's okay to regulate your emotion and show your emotion and talk to people. I feel like, in the world, mental health has become a highly aware thing. And I feel like, with kids, it's the same. Like kids, they weather a lot and they go through a lot as well, not just us adults. But so I feel like, stemming down and really focusing on the kids and how they regulate their emotion and helping them understand, and hopefully gain more of a perspective on life and, all their actions and stuff like that at an early age. So that way it's not like they're playing catch up when they get older, or, it's they're at a disadvantage because they didn't know. So I felt like, now that's something that helped me, really talking to people, really like using emotional support animals and just really learning how to regulate my emotion and, whatever I'm going through, and just learning how to talk, because a lot of men, a lot of men in our world just think it's, we should keep everything in and that we shouldn't talk, and that, that it's not, it makes us seem like less of ourselves that we don't talk, and that we do talk and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm like really passionate about, just really looking forward to, start taking steps to, get that kick started and, hopefully working a little bit more, even being in the NBA, like working a little bit more with helping that like get created, or, just joining something like that.
Yeah, that's great. I know that first I want to thank you for your time. This has been great, but I want to encourage you that God has definitely given you a platform, to be able to accomplish those real purposes. Basketball is one of those things that platform will allow you to be able to just do even greater things, and
Right.
reaching back and helping young people. And I just always love you when we met in Columbus. Always love your demeanor. You always there's got an old soul, as we say back in the day.
Yeah, that's how I try to think of it.
Yeah, just focused, just driven, that nothing really rattles you, and that's why God's really going to use you in a great way. So I'm looking forward to continue to follow your career and all the great things that God's going to do in your life, both basketball wise and in your future as well. Future is bright for you. So I want to encourage you, enjoy that ride with Zion and Brandon Ingram and New Orleans. I mean, it's going to be a great ride. I'm looking forward to watching you progress through this league. So Daeqwon, thanks for your time, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
All right, be blessed.